Hey folks, AJ the CEO here, and in this video we're going to be reviewing another mini switcher from Feelworld. So let's go. Hey folks, AJ the CEO here. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, thanks for stopping by. And on this channel we focus on tips, training, strategies, reviews, and builds to help modernize your media ministry. So if you're new here, consider subscribing, and if you like what we're doing here, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com. Link is in the description, or you can join and become a YouTube member button right here to the lower left, I believe. Yeah, if I'm looking here, it should be, yeah, something like that. So that's new. So sorry about that. So this is awesome. Actually had Feelworld reach out to me and asked, hey, we see that you do a lot of stuff for churches, and you talk about the AJayThem Mini a lot. I think we have a product that you might be interested in looking at, and that happens to be this. This is the Livepro L1 multi-format video mixer. But this is really cool because it already has a bunch of things that were problems with the base, as in it actually has a screen and you have multi-view. But hey, let's go ahead and open this thing up. And in full transparency, they actually sent this to me. They did not pay for this review. They are not reviewing this video before it posts. The opinions are mine, and I'm just giving you a real world example of this from a church perspective. All right, so they also sent me an awesome hat and shirt, so thank you for that. All right, now I must say, this feels a little bit heavier, but this thing is a good, solid performer from what I'm seeing. Metal, very sturdy. Looks like it has a bunch of holes drilled in here. Almost if like you have a locking mechanism for your HDMI cable, you can screw it in so it won't come loose. I think that's really cool. It has a screw-in power adapter, but I don't think they sent me one for that. We actually have a thread here that you could mount as a side to like a camera or something like that. Ethernet, USB, we're going to talk about that. And we only have in and out, which is awesome because you can hook up headphones so you can actually hear what's going on, which is another thing that the AJayThem Mini does not have. Have two knobs for your effects setup, and they're a push button, and they have functions inside of here. They have picture-in-picture, but we're going to go through all those features as well too. And you got a T-bar, so you can switch that back and forth, so that's cool. All right, let's see what else we got here. Have a USB cable to where it's the exact same end on both sides, so that's interesting. Wish I had a longer one, but oh well, I'm gonna need to find something like that for this. I'm most likely gonna plug this into my USB hub here. All right, and then nothing else in the box except for power. Have two power adapters, one for I believe the UK, and then regular here for the United States. So let's go ahead and get that in place. Alrighty. All right, so let's go ahead and get all this stuff plugged in. And what I'm gonna do is actually have this come out into my AJayThem so we can just see what it looks like, and because this is how I'm recording everything. So let's go ahead and connect it. Like I said, it does not come with, this one did not come with a locking mechanism for the power. And it looks just like the AJayThem Mini line. There is no on and off button. And I meant to talk about that, how I get around that. I actually use, in a previous video, I talk about using smart outlets. I just get like a $15 TP-Link smart outlet, and I plug my AJayThem into the other end of that, and that's how I can control the power to that outlet. So giving myself an on and off button, that's what I use. All right, so I have my hub here that I'm going to use. And let's go ahead and connect this. All right. I'm gonna just set it right here so this cable doesn't flip back on itself. All right. So now let me hook up my Sony camcorder here. And we do have, and I didn't even talk about that, 4 HDMI outs, and we have 4 HDMI inputs and 1 output. All right, so we got our camera on, and I'm gonna get my DSLR because I want to know, does this have a scaler similar to the A10 mini line? So you can see we have our first image. It's actually showing the frame rate. It's actually detecting at 1280 by 1080. 1920 by 1080 at 60i, which is interesting. Let me switch the output on my camera. All right, so what we're gonna do is do the HDMI out of this into the A10 so we can see. And that's mainly so I can record this as well too. All right, so we are plugged in here. Let me get these cables up out of the way. Well. So now let's go over here. So we should be seeing what this output would be. All right, so we're obviously seeing my camera, which is connected to this device. All right, so let's see what options we have on here. Let's go to our menu, and I don't have a way to actually, let me superimpose my camera on here so we can actually see what's going on with this. All right, so here on our menu here, all right, we can use this little knob here. And let's go to input. So we see our connections, all right? It shows us what we can do. There's nothing else you can really do with this, all right? Now HDMI, we can change our format, I believe. So you can go all the way down to 1024 by 768. Okay, that's cool. 720. Got a lot of, so it looks like the only 1080p output is just 60, okay. Now USB 3, let's see, okay, it gives you a secondary output on what the USB-C is. Looks like the exact same frame rates and resolutions, okay. Let's back up. Audio, all right, we can have embedded an audio bar on. Okay, I guess that's in our multi-view. So let's see what we got. External. Okay. Embedded. So I'm assuming that's coming from the HDMI. And we'll test that out. Let's go back. IP settings. Okay, I can hook this on the network, but it doesn't look like I have a way to actually do DHCP, which is kind of strange. But let me pull a cable real quick and connect this to my network and let's see what we get. All right, so yeah, so it doesn't pick an IP address. It doesn't do DHCP. So let me go ahead and set a connection and then let's see what we go from there. All right, and we also have language. What other options we got? Only 2 languages, look like Chinese and English, okay. Then there's reset and info. So we get a device name, version, all that other cool stuff, MAC address, things like that. All right, so now with that done, let's see what else we have on this side. So we have effects, okay, we have mix, then Oh, that's actually volume. Okay. Mix. Okay, so that knob actually changes it. So we got cut, fade. So it's not, I guess you can only set one of these at a time, which I think is interesting. All right, let's do it at fade for right now. All right, what else we got here? Mode, T-bar. What's here? All right, fast and that. So I guess we can set our transition speed here. Let's see what else we have. That's mode. Then we also have picture in picture. Okay, so you can pick the corners, half the screen, top, bottom. Okay, center. It has effects, but I'm not seeing how we can switch to that. So let's say I'm gonna use a picture in picture in the upper right hand corner. That's volume. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's go back here to our main settings here. Input. Looking for, okay, there it is. Now, under output, I didn't pay attention to that. We can, compared to the A10 Mini, what you can actually do with this, you actually have the option to output a preview or a program out. Now, I know when I connected this actually let me see the full view of everything I'm doing, so like a multi-view. So let me switch over, let's see what we get. All right, so yeah, so it is a multi-view of what you're seeing, and I have the picture in picture turned on of what I actually have. So that's good, and it's, as you can see, I'm pulling in audio here, so let me turn off the picture in picture. All right, so that's cool. All right. Now this thing is not, I was going to say I don't really feel a lot of heat. Feel a little warmth coming out the front. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up another camera to this, and I want to see what we get with this. Now I'm wondering, does this have support for a scaler? I believe it does, but it couldn't handle anything above 1080. I should try and hook a computer up to this as well too, just to see what we get. All right, and there we have a signal. Yeah, so it does have some form of scaling, because I'm actually, my camera is being detected as 1080, 1080i. All right, so now let's cut over here now. Our multi-view, we see our input here of our other camera. So that's cool. So there, close up. And we have our controls here. Let me focus on my Stream Deck here. And we have our controls here. Similarly, so we have our input number 1 is what's our primary focus, and you probably can't see it here because of the colors. Not very bright colors here, but see, this is at red. That's what's active right now. Green is our DSLR. So if I switch back to here, and we can use the T-bar. At least I thought I could. Oh, I didn't have it prepped. So if I do the T-bar, we're switching in between these two. All right, so we're switching back and forth, which is really cool that you actually have a physical bar. Now, this does have software that you can actually interface with it, but what we're gonna do now is let's turn off our multi-view from preview, we're going to change that to program. So now we're getting full screen coming out. Again, this picture-in-picture is from the actual device. So if we switch, we're going back and forth between the DSLR. Those are right here. So that's cool. All right, so let's try some effects out here. So if we come over here, we have fade. Let's change it to this one. And now let's see what our stuff does. Okay. All right, whatever ones we got. All right, so a swipe like that. Now we're gonna do a swipe down. I think this is a shrink. Well, not a shrink, going to the corner. I think this is an expand. Yep, across. Let's see the other one here. All right. Now this is a fade, a swipe up. Almost kind of like a Star Wars type of thing right there. All right. Same thing, but it's horizontal. Okay. Now this is a X in. All right. All right, some like mini blinds. Shrink in. And then the last one is a circle. Okay, cool. All right, let's see what other stuff we got here. That's your mode. Now, we already did the picture-in-picture. I'm wondering what this one is going to look like. And you can't see it because of how I am. How do I engage this? I'm wondering. Let's see. So we select how we want it to be. I'm going to do the half screen. Oh, the transition goes to that. Okay, okay. And then now I need to pick the one I want. Okay, there we go. So now by selecting this, it's actually letting me pick which one that I want to transition to instead of doing both. So that's interesting. So if I set the same thing, so now we have the same thing. Okay, that's interesting. Let's switch this back to off. Now we're gonna switch to both, but it saves my picture-in-picture. Now how do I get off of that? I have picture-in-picture off. Oh, there we go. That's I gotta think through that. That's kind of interesting. All right, and we still haven't gotten into our FX button there. Don't know what that is, but let's go ahead and put some headphones here and let's connect to the side and let's hear, because I'm pulling in audio from this camera. So this is our audio out, and yep, I can hear perfectly clear with that. All right, so that's cool. Then a line in, I would assume will work the same way, but the difference is there's no interface right now to actually touch this stuff. So let's cut back over to here. And what I'm gonna do, because now, let me get this off because I'm hearing an echo. What I'm gonna do is let's go to the website and let's look at some more information about this, shall we? All right, so here's the site. Talks about what it can do and all this other fun stuff. And I'm gonna go, that application, I thought it was gonna be downloads. Need to find the software because it didn't come with a disk or anything like that to actually use the software for this. I may have to change the link here. Oh, no, that's downloads, that's right there. That's just an image. I need the software. But anyway, let's go ahead and play around with this and see how this sees everything. So I'm going to open up OBS. Let me bring my picture-in-picture up. My picture-in-picture is now back through the ATEM. All right, so here we go through OBS, and let's see how this shows up, because obviously I don't have nothing installed here. So let's see how this device is picked up. Well, it's already picked up, duh. AJ, you're already here. So it shows up as Feelworld USB capture. Okay, really straightforward. Let's go here to custom audio, and we want to pull audio from the same device. There we go. So, okay, there it goes. Took a second. So we're picking up audio from there. Okay, straightforward. So if it picks up this way, it should pick up any other way with any other application. Now, one thing I'm noticing with this, going through the menus, that's why I'm wondering about the FX. And it doesn't say anything on the website of its features. It has picture-in-picture audio embedding, and it has a LAN connection, so it can obviously, I mean, that's strange. I guess the LAN connection is how it can talk, because this doesn't natively support live streaming. It's not like it can connect to anything. So there's the handle, how you can connect it to an arm, so it can do that. But I'm just wondering how. Yeah, so that's OBS, just like how we're doing, so that's cool. Yeah, so it's going to do everything over USB, similarly to the base ATEM Mini. And this can't natively live stream to anything. Oh, no, that's OBS worth the download. I thought it would have some software. Okay, this is where it's talking about the software. After connecting, no extra software is needed to be installed. The software holds onto the computer. The operation is the same as the switcher. So as you realize remote controlling, imagine using the switcher from the control room. But I'm wondering, how is that being controlled though? I have no idea how this is being controlled. So I guess I'm gonna have to look deeper on this part. But interesting so far. I mean, it's way better than that $20 capture card that we had before, where we had some performance issues, and for me it burnt out, and I think for another Facebook group and subscriber, Elliot, he had the exact same thing. One of his burnt out, but he has like 3 more, I believe, and they've been working perfectly fine. So I think it's kind of like just a acceptable failure rate of any type of electronics, I guess. But I mean, this is cool so far. So we can switch back and forth between our camera, and this is cool. Now, I think the main thing is the base model of the ATEM Mini is $299, and what I'm using is the ATEM Mini Pro, which is $595, which supports live streaming. Now, the Livepro L1 can't live stream, but it is about $100 more than the base model of the ATEM Mini, the base ATEM Mini, excuse me. So it's like, it's up to you. Is it worth having an additional $100 to take away some of the special effects features that are built in, but you have Multiview and you have other options for USB out as well as HDMI out? Personally, I think it's worth it for that price, because based off of a lot of people who have been trying to do this, they want to be able to have Multiview as well as an HDMI out and be able to switch, and that's what this gives you. Now, again, if you're trying to use the chroma keying and stuff like that, because again, I could be wrong, I wasn't able to find it on the device, but if you're trying to bring stuff in, it's not that big of a deal to actually bring that stuff in through your streaming software of choice and then just chroma key that over. It would be easier if you were able to embed them, but this is a workflow change. Again, I've been spoiled by Blackmagic, so most of my workflow thought process is around their tools. If I had started with the Feelworld Livepro L1, it could be kind of the opposite when I'm coming to the Blackmagic line. Now, what I would do if you don't want to do a chroma key, because of the full screen picture-in-picture, you could just format it in a way to where you can have the person on one side of the screen and then you have your scripture and stuff on the other side, so you have dual screen that way. So I think that's a way around it. But again, for $3.99, I think it's worth it because at that price, it's about double the price of a decent capture card, not the $20 ones, but the capture card that's pretty reliable. And again, you got to think, even if you wanted to have 4 inputs, now you have to have 4 USBs, even a dual link deck link that has 4 inputs or HDMI inputs. You're at least at $500. So you're $100 cheaper with the Livepro L1. So let's go ahead and look at some more features about this device. I like the fact that you can mount this, and then if I put this side by, let me disconnect this now so I can do a side-by-side comparison with this. Let's unplug all this. Ooh, the bottom is hot. And I need to come back and see how this networking stuff is even working. If I tried to compare these side by side here, it's about, I'll say it's a little bit taller, but as you can see, it's not, not as big as in lengthwise as the other one, but it has its advantages. This one feels a lot sturdier than, this one feels a little bit sturdier just because of the material that this is made out of. And then you do have that screen at the top that the ATEM does not offer. You need to connect it, and then even the ATEM Mini, the base model, has no form of multi-view. This one does. So that's a great option. And I turned on my picture-in-picture and I forgot that I switched it. So it's good that this actually has multi-view in the screen, or you can connect it out. And I think it works the exact same way that you compare it to the ATEM, even the ATEM Mini Pro. You can output the USB to preview or multi-view or program, but you can do the same thing for the HDMI output. So you could use the USB to give yourself a multi-view on a screen on OBS or something like that, so you can view it here, or a camera app, so you can see your multi-view, but then the HDMI out can be connected to your other devices. So it has its pros and cons. I'm liking what I got so far. The only issue is I need to do some more digging to find the software on how it can interface with that. But I mean, I guess digging, I've been spoiled by Blackmagic, and I'm more used to the layout, the workflow of that setup. I'm sure if I started with this and developed the workflow for this, I would be fine with this. The fact that it doesn't have chroma key built into it isn't really a deal breaker, because you're connecting this to streaming software, vMix, OBS, whatever one you want, because if it picks this up on OBS, it will pick it up everywhere because it just shows up like a web camera. I'm sure Zoom sees it as well. So this connected to Zoom would be powerful as well too, that you can actually use this and connect the computer to it, bring in your scriptures and stuff like that, lower thirds and things like that if you want to. This would still require you to do like those other programs. If you wanted to do green screening, you would have to do it in an external program outside of this. But I think this is not a bad option. Yes, you're missing out on some of the functions and features that the ATEM Mini has, but you get a bunch of things back, as well as to have multiple outputs from USB and the HDMI programmable. You can switch it to either one compared to the similar priced ATEM. You don't even have a multi-view option. So there is no multiple outputs that you can have like this one does. There is no chroma keying in effects, it seems, with this setup, but that's not a big deal because I mean you're bringing in 4 cameras. Now again, obviously I just got this, so I have no way of being able to test this out for months and months just to see the longevity. Does this die out after a certain period of time? I might try this out on a Bible study, or maybe I'll do a sample live stream, maybe hook the PlayStation up to it, a computer or something to it, and live stream it with a while just to see how it works. But thank you so much, Feelworld, for the LivePro L1, a great alternative option for those who are looking for an affordable switcher that you can bring in 4 inputs and then connect out. Like I said, this device does not allow streaming from the device, so you still need a computer. So you still need a system that's able to handle the encoding and things like that. But I think this is, at this price, a good capture device is almost half the price of this. And instead of getting 1 input, you can at least have 4. I think that's a great option. So again, thank you Feelworld for the LivePro L1. Very much appreciated. I will have links in the description to Feelworld, their Facebook and YouTube pages, as well as where you can pick up one of these things if you're interested in it. So let me know in the comments, is there anything else that you'd like me to test out with this? Because I'm actually going to be gifting this away to a member of our Facebook group, because honestly, I have no need for it. So I like to bless some other people with that. So that's already spoken for, so don't even ask if you can get it. I already promised someone else that they're going to get this because they don't have anything at their church, and we like to bless other ministries when we can with this. But while I still have this, please let me know in the comments, is there anything else you'd like to test out, want me to test out with this? And I'm gonna hook this up to the PlayStation, maybe play some Avengers or Ghost, I don't know, something on my PlayStation with it just to test it out. And that's about it. So I want to thank the patrons who made this video possible. Their names are on the screen right now. And you too can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, where you help us train media ministries all over the world. We also want to thank our YouTube members who have clicked the join button. Their names are right here, and I'm gonna include everybody in. Actually, I think I might change this format and put like a credits at the end with everybody's name in here. But I want to thank y'all for y'all support. No matter what avenue you do, thank you, really appreciate it. So if you like this type of content, I appreciate a like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. This is AJ, folks. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Later.